Hello everyone, today is Wednesday, April 18th, and today we're going to learn about pattern tracing. Now there's a lot of things to consider when you're pattern tracing, including the color of your fabric and how permanent you want the marks to be. I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can pattern trace, and we'll see which ones you like best. Now the first method of pattern tracing is good old chalk. It looks like this. It feels kind of like a cross between chalk and soap, which is exactly what it is. And you use it by just tracing around your pattern. Makes marks like that. These marks are kind of hard to get out, and if you iron them, they're usually permanent. So I don't recommend it for anything you want to iron. You can wash them out though. Next up, there's chalk pencils. They look like this. I have two. I have a white one and a blue one. Now these are pretty good. They work just like the chalk, only they mark thinner lines. But they come out a whole lot easier. See, I can take them out almost entirely just by rubbing on them. And the blue one is nice for lighter colors. Next there is, of course, good old regular pencil. This is a mechanical pencil. And you use it just like anything. It's best on light fabrics. Its marks are probably permanent. I've never tried to take them out. Erasing doesn't work very well. But if you're marking on linings, it's a nice mark that nobody's probably going to ever look for. And it won't bleed through. Next up we have this, which is a chalk holder. It comes with these long pieces of chalk that look like this. And it makes pretty nice sharp lines. And the chalk that goes in it comes in many different colors so that you can mark on dark and light fabrics. This is another version of that, only this one works a little bit more like a mechanical pencil. It's by Fons and Porter, and it has what amounts to is white chalk lead. Both of these come out pretty well just by rubbing them out. Next up I have what's called a chalkener, which is powdered chalk that's put in this container with a little serrated wheel, and you spin the wheel and it puts the chalk out by gravity. That means it's a little bit hard for this to turn curves, in my opinion, and as you can see, it likes to powder beside itself, but it is really great for lots of nice crisp lines, and again, it rubs out really easily. Next I'm going to talk about a dark one. This one is a quilting pen that is a disappearing ink marker. Its marks look like this. See, they're purple lines, but they'll come out either with water or just by letting it sit in the air, and time will take out the marks. So you can either steam out the marks or you can just let it sit and the marks will go away. But you need to keep in mind that if you mark up a project and let it sit, your lines will go away. Finally, my favorite way of pattern tracing is with tracing paper. Now, this is a huge piece of tracing paper. It's about 3 feet by 2 feet. I get it at Richard the Thread, which is an online company. And in order to use tracing paper, you need a tracing wheel. I have two. This is my favorite. And then there's this one, which is sharp. But to use a tracing wheel, you put down your fabric, you put your tracing paper on top of it, and then you put your pattern on top of that, and you trace around your pattern with the wheel. And it transfers the lines to your fabric. Now, as you can see, these are very light lines. They don't come out very easily, but since they're so small, it usually doesn't matter as long as you're working on the wrong side of the fabric. And I simply love it because of how permanent the lines are, how tiny they are, and how easy it is to do multiple layers. You just layer it up with another piece of fabric and another piece of tracing paper, and you can do both sides at once. You can do 4 if you need to, so it's pretty great. And there you go. That was pattern tracing. I hope you learned something, and I hope you'll come back tomorrow when we learn about Q, quilting.